Howdy Earthlings, in this video I'm going to be extremely critical, but please do not confuse me being critical of Dollys Factory as me hating it. I really like Dollys Factory and me and the lead dev Freya have an understanding. She wouldn't be one of my patrons if she thought I actually hated the game, or maybe she would, I don't know. Me being critical is me wanting the game to be better. Due to the nature of YouTube and how negativity gets more views, YouTube may promote my video as a form of negativity. That is not my intention. Also, look at me, I friggin' made myself a Kepler model. Would a hater do that? Anyway, last night I streamed Dollys Factory's latest update, the Greenhouse update. In it, we got an update to the UI, difficulty changes, balancing, a new machine type, new mini-boss lore, and 2 new plushies and rejects. This video is going to be a first impressions video based on my first few hours of play, and everything I talk about is subject to change. It's possible it's already been fixed. Since Roblox games aren't being run by big companies like Call of Duty, it's very likely that any and all issues I could have with it could change very quickly, because they don't have to go through a board or marketers and stuff like that before they can make changes. If a Roblox dev has an issue with the game, they can fix it immediately. If they want to, they don't have to, of course. But it's especially possible that some of these things will change, considering that Freya watches my videos. First, I'm going to go over the mini-boss floor. The greenhouse is a tile set that will work as an additional mini-boss floor like Doug's floors. Every so often, a regular zone might be replaced with a train repair or greenhouse zone. When you get a greenhouse zone, Reject Shrewy, who is actually very freaky, will jump onto your train and slowly walk through the map spreading poisonous gas. This is kind of similar to what I've suggested in my first video about Dandy's World, where I suggested a final floor where we have a long corridor and machines will open the exit. During your greenhouse run, you'll be using the new machines. I don't know what they're called internally, but I'm calling them hold machines. This is due to their similarity to Guitar Hero's hold keys, or any rhythm game's hold keys. You hold the interact key. When it stops being green, you can let go and get a perfect. As you get additional perfects, the speed of the machine goes up, but it appears these machines are unaffected by the efficiency stat, which has its positives and its negatives. The positive being that characters that are previously kings of efficiency are not necessarily the optimal choice anymore. Instead of Maestro or Zorro to get through these machines quickly, Buddy or Lineia may actually be better options. I'll get into Lineia when I talk about the characters, but she's not one of those characters who's directly better at the machines. It's more that her ability enables her to do the machines without being bothered as much. Buddy's instant 30% fill ability still works on these machines, but these machines are solo, which means Zorro isn't as useful. He can't tag team with his clone, and his clone doesn't contribute to checks, so Zorro is actually detrimental as the expected speed to complete these is pretty fast. These stages are timed in a way due to how Shrewy behaves. So this type of machine is good because it's telling you, don't put your fastest extractor here, put your best player here. It gives healers and even bad plushies like Cinnabon some value to a run, which is the whole point of these mini boss floors. Similar to how Doug's floor is about putting focus on your speedsters. Now, the negative thing about this is the way the stage works. Reject Lineia is very fast, also very freaky, love her design, and the zone is way too small, making it very hard for people working on machines to stay working on them. I've also noticed that Reject Lineia can see through some objects, making her difficult to lose. She's a reject that requires you to have a stunner on the team. In a team play sense, this is pretty good design as it encourages players to use underused archetypes. But when you don't have a quick match or matchmaking option, that means many players will be playing with small parties or even solo, unless you join my streams every Tuesday and Friday. As a solo, the greenhouse stage feels nearly impossible. Do you choose Buddy for faster finishes, or do you choose Jelly Bell to stun Lineia? Does it even make sense to play a character specifically for this stage, because you'll see this floor less than once every 5 floors? I think the team had the right idea with the stage and the rejects, but I feel in practice it's not so great. Adding on to this is Reject Shrewy, who will lumber through the stage dragging fart gas. Once you step in it, you'll build up a poison meter like Dark Souls. Then when it fills, you'll take damage over time while standing in the gas. We can now say Dollys Factory is a Souls-like because they added the mandatory poison swap that Miyazaki loves so much. I'm not ripping on them, I just find it funny. Shrewy's problem is that they dictate the speed of the stage, similar to how auto-scrolling levels in Mario do. They're saying that if you don't finish the machines fast enough, you will die. This is good. Dollys Factory is known for not being challenging, but this new machine is highly skill-based, so if you're bad at these machines, you will not be making it to floor 5 until you master this kind of machine. Yes, the difficulty is a skill issue. Unless you're playing solo, in which case this is not well balanced for solo. This makes it a problem again because there isn't any matchmaking. This is a team-based challenge with no easy way to make teams in the game. I love the content updates, but I feel like this could have been figured out with more playtesting. I don't know anything about their playtest process, but I'm wondering why this wasn't caught sooner since we all noticed it being a problem within the first hour of play. I wonder if the recent bump in development speed and the increased update release schedule isn't becoming overwhelming for the team. I mean, what, 5 major updates in under 3 months? That might be a little too much. Y'all should probably slow down. Anyway, while I get the idea behind the greenhouse buffs and can see what they're going for, I think in practice it's not very good. It's in some pretty severe need of tweaking, especially with Shrewy's speed, as they're just too fast. I also don't like that when we do well enough that Shrewy picks up the pace as a catch-up mechanic. I get that it's to keep up the pressure throughout the whole stage, and while that's good, I personally find it a little annoying. But again, I get it. They have to get a little bit of a catch-up mechanic to keep the pressure on, otherwise it doesn't do a very good job of being intense or stressful, and it's supposed to be a little intense and stressful. I just think that there's already enough pressure, as even with full lobbies, we've still managed to fail a zone because Lineia or her 3 clones made it impossible for anyone to stay on the machine for long. I don't know if stunts to kill Lineia clones are intended, or if there is supposed to be only 1 Lineia per zone, and the times we've gotten 3 was just a bug. I think machines need to be faster, and Lineia needs to be limited to 1 a zone, and be more likely to ignore people on machines. Maybe they can come up with a more creative solution, like making the greenhouse maps a little more spacious. There's also the issue of Lineia dying in the poison cloud, so we can't get the research easily. I know we can get research in the gold barrels, but they drop a ton of samples, making it easy to get hundreds in a zone. Now for the characters. Shrewy is a very powerful character, but the trade-offs they give us in order to make up for that high ceiling makes me not want to play Shrewy. I can go to try find 3 of the same flower, mix, use it, then have a big buff, or I can just play hi-fi and have a weaker buff, but at least it's up for the full duration of the game and I don't have to fulfill special conditions for it to work. This is just a personal issue. I think Shrewy is fine, and some are going to love them. They're personally not for me. Let me explain how they work though. Shrewy's main ability is to make potions that can provide a wide variety of buffs. To make these buffs, you need to find the flowers randomly strewn about the stages and grab them. Each one will tell you what they do, and you mix and match to make the buffs. Grab them, then mix them, and you can use it whenever you want, but you can't pick up more flowers unless you use the potion that you have. This is a lot of effort, and the boost is big, but I'd rather just play the much simpler high fly. But these new plushies have 3 abilities. Shrewy's second ability is a short-range teleport that loses chasing rejects. Other games might call this a blink, like if you play League. Then their final is that they take damage over time while being chased, so they have 2 positives and a drawback. This goes back to my 7 Deadly Sins video, or another video I think I mentioned this in, but do the characters really need to have a drawback? Is Shrewy good enough that they deserve some sort of equalizer? I don't really think so. Shrewy is neat, but overall they feel to play. I think this passive of taking damage while being chased could just be replaced with something else. Lineia is very good for very specific use cases and the greenhouse zone. I don't think a character that's useful only 1/5 of the time is worth playing. Of course, my critiques are of their gameplay, not of their design. I'm saying from a gameplay standpoint, I'd rather have the person playing a different plushie. Lineia also has 3 abilities. Her first ability, Peaceful Meadow, is the most useful. You create an area of vines and rejects can't enter it. It also can't be activated if rejects are too close. This can be used to slow Shrewy and protect players on a machine for a short time. It's very useful on greenhouse zones and for machines in high traffic areas. Her second ability requires her meadow to be active. Then you use her Sprouting Harmony to regenerate 5 HP, but you're immobile while using it. First off, 5 HP is way too little. She has like 80 HP. This isn't even a 1/10 of her health. This is functionally the same as no health because her meadow has a 90-second cooldown. 5 HP over 90 seconds is practically useless, but I understand why it's so low. If you were to make it higher, people soloing might just wait out the ability to heal. By being only 5 HP, you're making them wait 900 seconds just to restore 50 HP. A little bit over half their health, or 15 total minutes. I think we can make it 10 HP, or even 15 HP. 10 HP will be full health in 12 minutes. No one is going to wait that long, and it's twice as effective as what it currently is. For 15 HP, it's 8 minutes. Still a long time. If the concern is that they're going to heal too fast and wait out the ability, you can see that even with 3 times healing, it's still a very long wait. If people are going to wait out the ability, they're going to wait out the ability no matter what, 5 HP or 15, it's not going to matter. You may as well make it shorter, and besides, other players shouldn't be punished for others exploiting by making the character weaker. It's just odd. I praised DF many times for not making weak characters, but this one is just... I don't want to compare her to Cinnabon, because she's still more useful than Cinnabon, but she's in the area. They shop at the same store. Second, being immobilized with the cocoon doesn't make sense as a drawback because again, it's only 5 health. But I guess she's protected by the flower still. But that doesn't make sense either, as you need to use the meadow ability to use the cocoon ability. Nothing is getting into the meadow, and thus, yeah, I'm breaking out the thus, nothing is going to get close enough to be able to hit her that she would need the cocoon in the first place. The cocoon is simultaneously very weak and redundant. Her last ability ability is a passive that gives everyone a shield sprite when entering a new floor. The sprite has 3 health and takes priority for hits. So if you have health, a shield, and a sprite, and you get hit, the sprite gets hit first, then shield, then health like usual. This might seem pointless, but it's about how it's used. I know this because I pitched a character in the DF Discord that has the same ability. I called it barriers though. I'm not accusing DF of copying me. The barrier thing has been in other games before this, and Freya has said before that a lot of the ideas that I pitched in the past are things that they were thinking about implementing anyway, so I'm just sitting here, predicting updates again. I did it for TU, I'm doing it for Dollys Factory now. Anyway, a 3 health barrier means that the sprite won't disappear immediately when hit by poison or Thim's knife, but will be consumed by a more serious hit like a boss swinging at you. It's a good passive and ability, and yeah, that's 100% me being biased because, I came up with this ability kind of. They both have 3 abilities. Why does Shrewy have a passive that's a drawback, but Lineia doesn't? There's a lack of consistency between these two. Is the third ability supposed to be a drawback, or is Shrewy just special enough to get the drawback? Either way, I think Lineia is a incredibly niche character. She's not bad, but she isn't one of the ones I pick first. Even then, I think I'd rather have a second or third of most other characters on my team before Lineia. She's just a little too niche for me. Now, a couple minor things. I don't have an issue with shield cap being reduced to half max health. I think it makes sense, but it's still a questionable decision that I have to ask. Why? Why do this when we just got done making Dex's shop worse? That already makes shield items less common. So I wonder if cutting the shield cap isn't just overkill. If shields are so much of a problem, then why are we introducing new ones like Dolly's Caress and molds to make copies of them? As for UI changes, I like them, they're more stylistic, and I think a lot of people think that DF lacks a specific style. I think the lack of a style is more due to the speed at which the DF crew is improving. Just look at their older characters and stages and compare them to the remake stages and the new characters. It's an inconsistent style because the team is getting better. This is a good problem to have. Finally, the charms. Smart Foraging is Shrewy's charm and gives you a random tool at the start of the run, and it goes up to rare quality. Again, if shields are a problem, why are we giving players more of them? In general, I don't think that charms that give items are good, especially the ones in Dandy's World. Those ones are just terrible. It's a wasted slot that could be replaced with something much more useful. I think it won't see use outside of leveling, but I will admit that it's much more useful in Dollys Factory than these kinds of charms are in other games because everyone can drop items in DF. So it's not terrible. It's just not S tier either, and that's fine. It's okay for charms to be eh. Will of the Sprite is Lineia's charm, and whenever you use a shield tool, you get a sprite with up to a max of 2 sprites. Again, not biased, but this could actually be pretty good as an alternative to one of the Stitch items. This is not a bad third slot item, honestly. Unless you're someone who isn't getting hit often, then this might not be that helpful. This also is more shield benefit stuff, and it's like, why if you're reducing the shield cap? I don't know. That's it though. My thoughts so far have been that this update is good, but in some ways I think it makes the game worse. Like, this is a decent update, but it doesn't really compare to the previous ones, especially the Maestro update. But not all of them can be the Maestro update. The Maestro update was pretty crazy. Although the greenhouse one is pretty crazy in some ways, it's just the stage is more frustrating than it is cool. None of the annoying or bad stuff that's been introduced in this update is anything that would make me quit the game, but if the greenhouse floors aren't improved, I will be groaning audibly every time I get to play one. Shrewy and Lineia are very cool looking, but I think are skippable in terms of playability. I'm really worried that because of the frequent updates, the devs are getting overworked and should probably take a break. This past 3 months has been like 9 months worth of updates for other games. I really think they should slow down to prevent burnout. That's it. Thanks for watching, and thanks to my supporters on Patreon and members on YouTube like Ilwez, Alter Ego, Nightmare Wuna, Freya Games, Gezro, Am, Nevazi, Espen Artist Paper, Faye Penguin, Momentary Unicorn, Nat, Marius Yini, Worm Syrup, Rask, Beef, Colorado Blue, Vaderson, Linky, Addy14, The Ace of Raccoons, Blackjack, Rask again, Willie Pete, TG Dante, Linky again, Astro Pixie YT, and Malding Brick. I'll see y'all later. I'd say I have to go spray fungicide all over my house, but I'm part mushroom on my mother's side, and I really don't know if I'm mushroom enough that it would kill me, so I'll see y'all later. Bye.